Today's lesson is going to be converting fractions to decimals and percents. So your I can statement is just I can convert fractions, decimals, and percents. We're going to start with converting fractions to decimals on the front, and then on the back we're going to do fractions to percents. So to convert fractions to decimals, you need to divide the numerator by the denominator. This is the same as you're dividing the top number by the bottom number. So we have 4 examples on the front, and then we'll move on to converting fractions to percents. So to convert 3/5 to a decimal, we simply do division. That is long division. So we put 3 inside, 5 outside. 5 cannot go into 3, so you have to add a decimal point and a 0. Now, 5 can go into 30 6 times, so 5 times 6 is 30. You're left with nothing left. So 3.3/5 as a decimal is 6/10. And that's all you have to do. So example 2, we do the same thing. 7/8. Long division. 7 goes inside, 8 goes outside. 8 cannot go into 7 evenly. So add you a 0 and a decimal point and do the division. 8 can go into 70 8 times. 8 times 8 is 64. 70 minus 64 is 6. We do not want a remainder, so we add a 0. Drop it down. Can 8 go into 60? Yes, it can. 7 times. 8 times 7 is 56. 60 minus 56 should be 4. Add you another 0 and drop it down. 8 goes into 40 evenly, and it goes in 5 times. 8 times 5 is 40. You're left with nothing. So 7/8 as a decimal is 0.875 or 875 what? Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So 875 thousandths. Okay. Example number 3 and 4 are going to be word problems, but they're nothing you can't handle. On Billy's paper route, he throws newspapers from his bike. If he gets the paper on the porch 40 out of 50 times on one day, what is his success rate as a decimal? So as a fraction, 40 out of 50 is 40 over 50. We want to do the division. 50's on the outside, 40's on the inside. 50 cannot go into 40, so you must add your decimal points and zeros. 50 can go into 400, though, evenly at 8 times. 8 times 50, you get 400. You're left with nothing. So he gets his paper on the porch 8/10 of the time. Example number 4 is Alan rode his bike 4/5 of a mile to the park. What is the distance he rode his bike as a decimal? So 4/5, 4 divided by 5. 4 is inside, 5 is outside. 5 cannot go into 4. Add you a 0 and a decimal point. 5 can go into 40 though, 8 times. 8 times 5 is 40. You're left with nothing. So he rode 8/10 of a mile. That has been how to convert fractions to decimals. We flip our paper over, we are going to see how to convert fractions to percents. So, some quick notes real quick. A percent is parts per 100. Percents are always out of 100, forever and always. To make a fraction into a percent, we do like we did at the front. We have to divide the numerator by the denominator. And then we have to do one more step, which is multiplying by a 100. So, we have to convert 3/4 to a percent. Percentage and percents are the same thing. So if you see percentage versus percent, just know that those mean the same exact thing. So 3/4, we do the division. 3 goes on the inside, 4 goes on the outside. 4 cannot go into 3 evenly. So, like we did on the front, we have to add a 0 and a decimal point. Can 4 go into 30? Yes, it can. How many times? 7. 4 times 7 is 28. Do the subtraction, you're left with 2. Add a 0, drop it down. Can 4 go into 20 evenly? Yes, 5 times. 4 times 5 is 20. You're left with nothing. So 3/4 as a decimal is 7.75 or 75 hundredths. If you want it as a percent, we multiply by 100 and we get 75%. Now, multiplying by 100, if you want to make a note, is the same thing as moving your decimal 2 places to the right. So if you see this, it was here. You move it twice by multiplying by 100. It ends up behind. If it asks for a percentage, make sure you put a percent symbol in your answer. So the next one we have is 2 word problems. Nancy is selling pies for a fundraiser. She has raised 75 out of her $120 goal. What percent of her goal has she reached? So as a fraction, she has saved 75 over 120. That's what she's got. We have to make it a percentage. So we're doing division. 75, 120. 120 cannot go into 75. So we have to add our zeros and our decimals. 120 can go into 750 6 times. You end up getting 720. Do the subtraction, you're left with 30. Again, drop a 0 down. 120 can go into 300 2 times. You get 240. If we do the subtraction, we're left with 60. Add another 0. 120 can go into 600 5 times to get exactly 600. Subtract, you get 0. We take our decimal and we're multiplying by 100. So 6.625 times 100 is 62.5%. Okay? Now, the bottom example is a little different because it's a repeating decimal. So we are going to round 3 decimal places or to the thousands place, and then we're going to stop. Excuse me. So, George got 6/7 of the questions correct on the test. How is that fraction written as a percent? So what percent did he get on his test? Well, to find it, we do the division. 7 into 6. Can 7 go into 6? No. Add the zeros and the decimal points. Didn't write very well. 7 goes into 60 8 times. 8 times 7 is 56. 60 minus 56 should be 4. Add your 0, drop it down. Can 7 go into 40? Yes. 5 times. You get 35 and subtract. You're left with 5. Drop your 0 down. Can 7 go into 50? Yes. 7 times. 7 times 7 is 49. You're left with 1. We're going to add one more 0. How many times can 7 go into 10? Once. 7 times that is that. Subtract, you're left with 3. So this would be what our answer is. We're going to round, though, to this place value. If you look to the right, you see a 1. So we're going to say it's approximately 0.857. If we multiply that by 100, we're going to get approximately an 85.7%, or 85.7%. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.